Hi guys, welcome to Baltic Jack. I'm Adrian and today is a really good day. The sun's shining, it's not too hot. I'm in West London, a place called Little Venice. Got a gorgeous watch on my wrist and there's some really nice cars about. Like that Porsche just there. Today's video is going to be about this gorgeous little thing. It's from a brand called Baltic, a French brand. It's called the HMS 001. Oh, there's going to be a few of these guys around as well. So a bit of context around my relationship with Baltic. I messaged them on Instagram saying, could I borrow a watch? And they said yes. So I've been putting off doing this video for one very good reason. Basically, they said, have the watch for as long as you need it. Now, as soon as I do the video, essentially, I don't need the watch anymore. So that's why I've been putting it off. Anyway, let's take a closer look at this. Baltic are from France and they started on Kickstarter. Now, the thing that's special about Baltic is that their designs are all massively influenced. They rant on about this on the website, massively influenced by the 1940s, and you can just, their designs just scream this. Now, I'm not creating any hype, I'm not being paid to say this, but I genuinely feel their watch designs are absolutely beautiful. So the watch that I have is my favorite of all of the watches. So let's look at a few specifications. The case is 38mm wide. It's made from 316L steel. The lug width is 20mm and it's water resistant to 50 meters. It has Hess-like glass, which you don't really see too often now, apart from in things like the Speedmaster. And I think that's a bit of a downer for this guy, because when I've been wearing it, I've had this for about 4 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks now, and when I've been wearing it, I have been concerned about bashing it on things. So the case is brushed nearly all over, but it has a highly polished bezel, which I like and dislike at the same time. I like it because it adds a nice cool touch to it, and it's got a mirror finish on it. But when you try and take wrist shots, you often get a reflection of the camera or yourself, and it can look a bit odd, especially when there's colours reflecting in the bezel itself. Now, with regards to the actual design, it is so hard to fault this thing. The dial is beautiful. It has this really lovely, satisfying cream dial with the very simple 36912. It's a beautiful cream with a lovely blacky grey, very dark grey text. It's got the minute markers. Now, my favourite part of this dial is that tiny red touch of automatic text at the bottom. And in fact, it's underlined. They've executed that absolutely perfectly. Now, oddly, the Baltic logo, now I'm quite picky about my logos, but I think the Baltic logo actually works on here. Although it's quite a modern design, especially with the C, with the cutaway of the C tilted up slightly, I think it works. And the hands on this thing are absolutely gorgeous. It's quite hard to see face on, but they're actually blued. And when you catch that blue in the light on the backdrop of that cream dial, especially with the red, the blue and the cream all together, and then the tan strap as well, it's just a recipe for amazingness. So one thing that I will criticize about the hands is the second hands. It's cream. Now, cream on a cream dial, I don't think works. It doesn't look particularly out of place, but equally it doesn't particularly stand out. And so I think it would have been so much cooler had they put a high polished steel hand there to match the high polished bezel. Also, that would reflect light, it would reflect any color that was facing it, and it would then stand out really well. But to be fair, that's my only criticism about the dial and hands. I think everything else is done absolutely beautifully. Now, on this version that they sent me, we have a display case back, and we can see the Miyota 821 movement. It has 21 joules, and it beats at 21,600 beats per hour. It's got a 42 power hour reserve, and it is accurate to -20 plus 40 seconds a day. Now, that's what Miyota claim. I haven't tested it. That's a relatively inaccurate movement. However, we have to remember the price here. It is a sub €400 watch, and so it's acceptable. So this movement, you can wind it manually, and there's no screw down crown, so it's just ready to go. There is no hacking function in this movement, not even when you move the hands. Now, I don't know how you guys feel, but for a €399 watch, I'm really not too fussed about the movement. It's automatic, it's mechanical, which is the most important thing. Automatic is great. Japan are incredible at their engineering, so I'm satisfied with that. If they had anything else inside, then they would charge a lot more money, which I think they should. I wouldn't be surprised if in a year or two these guys are pushing out £1,000 watches. I don't know, maybe I'm too lenient. Maybe I've got too much of a bias because I just love the design. For me, the first thing about a watch is a design. Its capability is secondary. This isn't particularly water resistant. The Hess light means it's not particularly rugged. The movement is not particularly accurate, but it's good looking. It is so darn good looking. So I've chosen for it to come on this vintage style leather strap, which is French calf leather. It's nice looking, but for me, it's really starting to show its price point. The strap for me isn't good quality. It looks incredible, but it feels thin, and it's got a lot of kind of edging on it. I've forgotten what someone told me in another video what this was called, but I've forgotten. It just doesn't feel like particularly high quality leather. But at €399, you really can't expect anything else. It's real leather, but it just doesn't feel particularly high quality. I do, however, like the buckle. Now, someone made a really good point about this watch. I've been posting photographs of it on my Instagram page for a while, and a chap asked a really good question. He said, is this a genuine watch, or is this just another fashion watch? And that's just the perfect question. At what point does a fashion watch become a genuine watch? Now, there are components on here which highlight the price point at which it's at. It's sub £400, sub €400, and so you can only expect a certain level of watch for that money. Now, does the value of a watch depict whether it's a fashion watch? Well, surely not, because the Seiko SKX is sub £200. Does the fact it's a new brand, a micro brand, depict it being a fashion watch? Well, no, I don't think that comes into it either. So maybe a fashion watch is something that simply follows a trend. So if you think something that's definitely a fashion watch is Daniel Wellington. There's a trend, it's gone viral, they're making lots of money, and then people are now copying the Daniel Wellington. You've got watch brands copying Daniel Wellington. So if a fashion watch is something from a relatively new brand that is following a trend, then maybe this could be a fashion watch. It's tapping into the vintage vibe, which is on trend at the moment, but then a lot of people are. I don't feel comfortable calling this a fashion watch. Maybe that's my bias coming into play, because I don't want to like a fashion watch and I really like this. But there are things that scream that this isn't a fashion watch, and this is designed by people who are genuinely interested in watches, as opposed to someone who's interested in making a lot of money from selling watches. One, the price point is relatively low, and I doubt they're making a massive profit, as opposed to someone like Daniel Wellington, who's buying very cheap watches and selling them for a huge markup. Equally, Michael Kors doing the same thing, buying plastic watches and selling them for a couple of £100. The one thing for me that tells me that this isn't a fashion watch are these beautiful holes in the case. Only someone who really understands watches and appreciates vintage watches would put those holes there. For me, those holes make the case design. If they weren't there, maybe it could be a fashion watch. They scream vintage, those holes. They scream tool watch, and they really invite you to put on different straps. I think the designs that these guys are pushing out are too nice to simply label them as fashion. So guys, that is my video on the Baltic HMS 001. I'd love to know what you guys think of it, especially that topic. I think we need to do something more around the topic of fashion watches versus proper watches, and what that kind of transition period is, if there is a transition period, or whether something's stuck at being a fashion watch. What constitutes a fashion? I think this needs to be something like a live debate with some people. Yeah, it's a fantastic question, and I don't know the answer. Let me know what you guys think about this thing. Do you guys think that this is a fashion watch? Maybe because of the movement, maybe because of the design, maybe because of the price points. But I'm really interested to find out what like the consensus is around this. Guys, let me know what you think. Are you a fan of Baltic, or are you not a fan of Baltic? And do you think Baltic should let me keep this watch? I hope they let me keep the watch. Guys, if you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm Adrian, and I talk about watches. Usually drink coffee. I've had 2 already. I got distracted by taking photographs of cars like this nice Porsche 911 Carrera that has just come up here. If you're new to the channel, subscribe down there. It really helps the channel out if you subscribe. Helps to get the videos boosted up through the searches and all of that stuff. Hit the thumbs up button if you like the video. Hit the bell icon so you get more notifications. Actually, you're going to want to do that because I will be doing a video. No way. I'll be doing a watch giveaway in a couple of videos time. So you're going to want to hit that bell icon and subscribe. Check me out on Instagram @BarkandJack, and I will see you guys next time. Take care.